Been a lot of spoken word and music in Braamfontein, where the 251 Poetry Salon session was held. Celebrated poet Lebo Mashile has been engaging audiences on her love for music and books, culture and art. Newzroom Afrika's Katleho Sekhotho is there and joins us now live. Good afternoon, Katleho. Just take us through what's been happening there so far.
A very good afternoon, Clement. Lots of excitement here following the poetry session. As you can see behind me, Lebo Mashile taking photographs with people who admire and love her work. And it's really been a morning of conversation around the things she loves, the books she loves, the music she loves, but also how it relates to the broader conversation around culture and art in Johannesburg, in Gauteng and in South Africa as a whole. And it's happening here at the Forge in Braamfontein, and so many people have come out to enjoy this discussion. But I want to bring in the organizers of this wonderful event, Mo Afrika and Yvonne. It's been an amazing conversation. Mo Afrika, I'll start with you. I mean, engaging with Lebo in this way, and that this will be a continued session or season of events such as this. Why is it important to have such events?
Firstly, thank you for just gracing this space. We really appreciate it. It is important for us to introspect, and we need such spaces where such content is not broadcasted, and for us to be able to document some of the amazing stories, who gets access to Lebo Mashile and have a conversation, be able to interact with her real time. And it is for us to be able, at some point to be studying Lebo Mashile in, universities. This is spaces for people to have a quest to even write theses about the work of Lebo Mashile and many other poets that we have featured for this season. Have we had anyone, questioning or dissecting the work of Wale Serote or, Katleho? They have been contributing, but also this is to add on to the archives for young people inquisitive to question. And these are the conversations that we are having to question ourselves in this timeline, but also to hold a timeline that whoever who might be interested in the featured poet's work, they will be able to have this archived work. It's one of those spaces that conscientize people, make people come together. We have had people coming all the way from Nelspruit today, some people coming from Mamelodi and then very far, where usually we are on our phones. So to see warm bodies, be in such a space, it's exciting. There's a need for such spaces. You find the likes of Omakuku Makatini, Omanda Maseko, questioning why spaces that are existing, get closed down. I mean, COVID was another factor, but just down the road, there was another jazz space that closed down. And to have, conscious Pan-Africanist spaces like the Forge opening up to as Kafela says, it's very, much privilege, and it's something that we don't take lightly. This is not a TikTok, 2 minutes clip, but you have this life connections with the human. And also, I guess it also speaks of how we are detached to the human interaction. We are always on our phones. It's always just quickly just to go on Instagram, go wherever, get the content. But the human touch also, it's fading. And having spaces like this, it's reminding us of why it's important to gather as a people and, exchange.
Certainly, certainly. And talking about warm bodies, being in a room, not being on the cell phone. Yeah. I mean, Yvonne, this space, the Forge, so many spaces have been lost in and around the city to present a platform like this for artists. There were poetry slam competitions back in the days, Newtown, Braam. Why was it important for you to create this space?
Thank you so much. I also want to echo Mo Afrika to say we're really grateful and humbled and deeply honored that you're here to cover the work that the Forge does. I mean, for us, any opportunity to share what we do is important, and so we really are grateful. I think that, as you said, spaces where people can gather, where we can meet and connect our communities and connect our work, but also to build solidarities across struggles are important. We live in a world where opportunities like this are not plenty. And so for us to have a space like the Forge is really special, especially in our political climate. And I said in the opening that for us cultural work is important. It's also central. Because cultural workers, are political workers. Cultural workers are doing the political work. And so if you come to the political revival, people will ask, who's the keynote? We say the poet is the keynote. We say the musician is the keynote. We say the theater practitioner is the keynote. And so a lot of our work really takes seriously cultural workers, political work. I mean, cultural workers have been doing this work long before the Forge existed. Well, in the 1920s, we had poets like Sekhotho, who was actually writing poetry and questioning gender inequality in the ANC at the time. So we really are grateful to have a space like this where people can gather, we can think together, we can connect our work, connect our communities, but also build solidarity across various struggles.
Certainly. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Clement, you heard it there from Yvonne and Mo Africa, the organizers of the poetry session here today, and really outlining the importance and the significance of having spaces like this, to really encourage conversation. And as she was saying, creatives, artists are also, doing political work, and that it's really good to have spaces like this which engage in that way.
Katleho, Sekhotho, thank you for that update.